Welcome back to this special edition of Jersey Matters, where we're covering the 2015 New Jersey election for the Assembly. The entire Assembly was up for grabs, as we've been telling you. And we are joined now by Shaun, who is the Republican chair in Monmouth County. Your county seems to be the story of the day, with Mary Pat Angelini and Caroline Casagrande both losing. What happened?
Well, Larry, thanks for having me on, and appreciate it. Listen, the county, Monmouth County as a whole is strong. We won our county seats and by over 10,000 votes, and we took Red Bank. Historically, since 1989, Republicans haven't been in control there. So what happened in LD 11, as you know, it's a redistrict map, and from 2011 to now, it's a heavily Democratic registered district. We have over 10,000 more registered Democrats in that district. That, coupled with money pouring in from the super PACs, almost in excess, I understand, of over $1 million, made for a really tough race. And I think you align those things, and the mix was just right for what really turned out to be a razor slim victory. Unfortunately for the Republicans, but as a county, we're strong. That had a line just right for them, but we'll get it back in 2 years.
This whole gerrymandering and the redistricting is a national topic right now, and some people are trying to stop it. Sure. Is it a problem?
Well, I think it is. Listen, we obviously the Republicans didn't like the map coming out of 2011.
People in the majority always like
it. The people in the majority always like it, and that's always the argument. Some of the districts weren't fair. It was designed for this very case scenario, right, to give the Democrats a favorable shot at winning some of the districts, and this was one of them.
No question you were targeted.
Yeah.
No question that county was targeted by the Democrats.
Yeah, no question. I mean, listen, because we have a strong Republican county, and we vote Republican and always have in the recent presidential and even presidential primaries, presidential races, general. You're talking about Romney and Dole and others. Where Monmouth County voted for the Republican presidential candidates. So. Obviously, it's a stronghold in the state of New Jersey, coupled with Ocean County. It becomes a target for the Democratic Party.
Getting back to the original question, would you like to see them do away with this gerrymandering, the redistricting?
I think they have to get back to a more fair process. And granted, there's politics at play in everything, and certainly with the redistricting. But I think they have to come up with an alternate way to do it.
Historically low turnout. It was they're saying 21% across the state. I don't know what it was in Monmouth County.
Oh, you look at some towns. We had some towns at 17%, 18%.
Whose fault is that?
The malaise of, I think, and we see this nationally with the non-institution candidates that are running, right? And I think the voters are tired of, one, the partisan bickering and not getting the people's business done the way it should. And to some extent, that's in Trenton, and to more of an extent, it's in the Capitol, in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, but to be fair, they did a poll before it, and like only 5% of the people knew who the candidates were running. Only 15% knew there was an election.
That's correct.
So whose job is it to let them know that there's an election and to get them out? Or do the parties not want that because they have better control over the election?
Well, I think it benefits some parties, depending on the dynamics. Again, here, I could sit here as Republican chair and say, oh, well, we don't want the vote to come out in some of the towns in our county because we don't want to remind them there's an election going on. And Vin Gopal, the Democratic chair, my counterpart, would say the same thing. In some Republican towns, he doesn't want the vote to come out. So why would you want to remind people, from a strategic perspective? Now I teach political science and American national government at Monmouth U. And of course we want to drive out the vote, and we want an informed voter, and we want a voter that's engaged in the process, and it's every American's right to do so, and I think they should. And we spend a lot of our time in the off seasons educating the public on polling places, on what they can do to participate in the process. But it just didn't translate on this cycle that we see every 16 years. This is the down cycle where we just don't have anything on the top of the ticket.
It'll be back up in 2016.
Oh, yeah, listen, on the presidential and the
you'll
gubernatorial in
get
New
a big
Jersey, it
turnout.
certainly will.
Especially if Christie somehow pulls off a miracle and wins this at this point. And I'm just going by his poll numbers now. Shaun Golden is the Republican chair in Monmouth County. Thank you so much for coming here today. Speaking of Chris Christie, when we come back, there's a video of him that's gone viral. We're going to end the show with that.